Hello, hello. I made it. Welcome to the Virgo Channel. My name is Laura, and if you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for my winner. But understand that you probably might, if you wind up on this channel, you're definitely going to resonate because that's how spiritual energy works. It doesn't matter that I'm going to do a reading for my winner. You know, the universe always brings us what we need. Whatever you're seeking, that's this light is going to drive me crazy. It looks like I'm going to have to move over because my OCD is going to drive me nuts. So, if you're new to my channel, no, I do readings and shadow readings. We don't just look at what goes on the surface, like what we're watching our person do. We don't want to know. We want to know why a person they do. With shadow readings, we want to know why we attracted this person into our life a lot of times. Karmic relationships don't just mean bad. They mean that this person is a divine connection, which means there is love, unconditional love there. However, due to the wounds and the negative behaviorisms and habits that come from those wounds, the relationship tie gets really toxic. And it gets almost like coated, right? Almost like when you have a bicycle and you leave it out in the rain, what happens? It gets corroded. Well, it's like that's what happens in toxic relationships. They corrode. So it's not like a case that this person didn't care about you. I feel like, again, this person does care about you. Spirit sometimes likes to do a little channel before I pull cards. I should let you guys know that. For those of you that are new. But then the cards will always back up. Anyway, so it's like your person does care. It's not like they don't care, and because they could feel that unconditional. It's the dynamic of the relationship. We're magnets of who needs to come into our life to teach us. To teach us what? To teach us what unconditional love is. And sometimes it's by understanding what it's not, by what it feels like. See, we wouldn't know what it is if we don't not doing it for ourselves. So the reading, again, we're going to look at your shadows because a lot of times these karmic relationships don't work out, and they don't work out because they're not from the highest good. People that have a lot of wounds, like I said, they sabotage the connection. They get in their own way. They have betrayal, victimization. But meanwhile, they're the ones that pretend that they're victimized. So it's important to understand. Oh, I need to I was wearing my earpod. Okay. So I just wanted to put that out for those of you that are, again, new to what shadow readings are. Whoop, that scared me. Like my phone. It's so crazy right now because, there's a lot on my life. So sorry about that. I was supposed to be on at 1:00 today, but my husband's in hospice and he fell last night, and it's been I just made it back. I literally just made it back. I move the time a few different times, but when life changes around us, we have to again be able to go with the flow of life. When we have spiritual blocks in the second chakra, well, the universe tries to let us heal by letting us not be as rigid, by teaching us how to go with the flow of life. See, everything happens for a reason. You're always having a relationship with the universe, with God, because God is the universe. It's ubiquitous. It's an energy of unconditional love. And you have that energy inside of you. I have it inside of me. Everybody, again, has it. It's our connection to each other. It's felt as empathy and sensitivity. So when we have spiritual blocks, parts of ourselves that we reject. They're parts of ourselves that perceive us to be defective, not good enough, not worthy, whatever the karmic theme is. We're not aware of the theme. So people come into our lives. Again, people that there is unconditional love that they have for us and we have for them. We wouldn't volunteer. So it's to understand why, you have shadows. That there's not anything wrong with you, is my point, is that everybody has them. It's like, because we're down here to learn, and we're supposed to be learning. We're not separate from the universe, not separate from God, not separate from each other, seeing our lives through all different perceptions. So the card of the video, the underlying energy to why everyone's doing what they're doing right now is, God, I need my glasses, intolerance. So again, there's a sense of, I feel like you've reached your point, like that you're in connection. I put these baby bad boys on. There you are. That there's a sense of, you've gotten to the point where you're like, I don't really think I want this. And I feel like that, even though there is a sense of, I do care about this person, I do love this person, but I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of being sad. It's like, to the point that it's like making me feel very detached, disassociated. And this is not an energy that you haven't felt before. So again, the word that you're going to write your comment bar is intolerance. Again, if you want to enter into winning free reading with me, but again, like, you're in a place of like, I'm tired. So when you stay for long periods in a time, that again, that we're sad, it doesn't feel good. So we detach. And then in that, we don't really know what we feel anymore. But we do know, like, there's a lot of, like, again, mistrust. There's a lot of, like, again, now I can't really be with you because I don't trust you. However, I still feel like you still have feelings. This is part of fighting each other. So there's an energy. Now, Ellen, are you there? If you're there, like, again, being that this is your reading, though, again, if you've landed on this, you to hear this message too, tell me, is that where you're feeling? Because it's like, almost like, well, now, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm stuck between my heart and my head, because this person has hurt me. This person has done me wrong, has abandoned me, has done that. But it's like, I still have feelings. So it's, again, like, you would still want to be more than friends. But again, like, finding out the truth crushed you, I feel like, which is like, I have deep feelings for you still. But it's like, it's seeing like how you are now. Now, I'm only bringing this up because, like, I feel like this is your energy. I wish things could be different. And so that there's a sense that your person has detached completely. I'm not feeling them. When you ask, because I know you want to know your person, is he still there? Is he going to come back? Is he going to, because again, the relationship was great, and then all of a sudden it wasn't, and there's this theme of abandonment. So when a person does that, we have to understand that a lot of times their motive isn't to come back and fix it. It's, again, there's a sense that I feel like, that it's like, I don't trust this person. And it's like, even though, like, it's created the numbness within inside of you is the disassociation also, meaning that this person hurt you, actually traumatized you, because they pretended to really be in a relationship and then they just left. So why that's important is because there's still energy underneath there. Just because you disassociate doesn't mean that there is an emotional suppression there. And so in order to do a shadow reading, I have to obviously tell you that you have to integrate that energy that's underneath where you disassociated. Otherwise, you're going to continue to attract the same types of energy into your life. So again, which is making you really not trust yourself, because that's what happens. And then that's really why you're sad, because I can't have it. And God says, you're me in physical form. You can have whatever the hell you want. It's like what it is. It's your wounds that are holding you back. And listen, I'm also going to pull to see what this person's going to do. Because just because they're detached and they're selfish and they're of a low vibration doesn't mean that they won't try and come back. Remember, there's feelings, but usually not when you're sad, not when you're in a place of, I don't trust you, I'm sad, I want you to come back. Unfortunately, that's not when they come back. Why? Because again, there's a spiritual energy that it still connects you to this person and them to you. They can feel you. And again, through your thoughts that you think, the emotions that you have, even though it's like, no, I want this person to come back and justify what they did. I want them to come back and expose them. The issue is they don't know why they do what they do. People that live karmic cycles of self-sabotage, you're not the only person that they've done to. It's again, it's to understand why are you attracting that into your life. Because once you change the dynamic of that, you shape shift the situation where this person either comes back because there really is unconditional love, which never dies, no matter what. Transcends time and space, can't be destroyed, can't be manipulated. It's that energy of, again, supernatural power. And so, again, that person would come back if it's true. If it's not true, obviously it's from the shadow and it would collapse. But that you would avoid karmic. Like I want to say, like not just karma, but karmic retribution, negative karmic retribution, because of being with someone like that. So we have to understand that I feel like because it was karmic retribution, it's like, let's see what it was for you. Because it's like, why did I person? And we'll understand by looking at the inner child wounds. But it's again, this person was dishonest. Again, they lied. And they played games. So they kind of feel like they had one foot in, one foot out. Now, mask. Again, pretending to be somebody that they weren't. Which is kind of like the same exact thing. But that says more about them. It's making you feel a certain way. But once we look at their wounds, it'll helps balance you out, because it's sometimes changing the perception of your situation is actually what helps you cut that karmic energy where it's like, I'm stuck between my heart and my head. My heart is telling me one thing and my head is telling me something else, and it's like I'm stuck because I'm so mad. And it's so, again, by actually healing and integrating, you break that karmic cord with like their past situations that I feel like they hold that inside of them, and it's actually making you resentful because you're like, first of all, you're dishonest, you wear a mask, you show me one aspect of yourself. So I feel like some of them were dating other people. Some of them never had any good intention of wanting what you wanted, but pretended they did. And so obviously it created a lot of resentment within inside of you. Remember, we always look at the shadows, and the shadows aren't pleasant things to look at, but it helps us understand why certain things happened. And once you learn, you can at least integrate that energy. All right, so then let's see. Angry. So again, I feel like this person was angry. So understand like goes to like a lot of times. And what you're realizing is now I feel like you're in a place where you kind of feel a little bit lost. And I feel like so you're in the right place when you're doing shadow work, because it's like you have to find, yes, this person did what they did to attract this person. Why did this dynamic of the relationship like this play out? And sometimes we discover our own gifts. It's not just, we don't just discover our wounds, our shadows when we're in a dark place. Again, suppression. So being brought up in an environment where, you were told not, like you were made not to feel that you could just express yourself and be yourself. And sometimes there's just a lot of stress. And that's what I feel like. I don't really feel like it was anything major. I just feel like it was very stressful environment. And sometimes as children, we're very sensitive to our parents' needs. We're very sensitive to the point that we become very accommodating. And so that's a way to suppress, who we are because we love, and the way that we love is we want to make things easier. We want to heal. We want to be, and so I feel like, again, there wasn't really an issue, but in suppressing yourself, you don't really know who you are, right? When we suppress ourselves and when we stop ourselves from going out, sometimes we carry that behavior. We're still like the healer, the fixer, and there's nothing that brings more moths to some than light. And it's like that's what happens. So it's not because you're like even did anything like, well, why did I do this? I'm a good person. It's like that's the whole point. You are a good person. So that's what the person sought out. So the issue is why didn't you see it? Like where did we go wrong? Like how could we attract someone that was wearing a mask and never really had any intention at all when we're not that type of person? I mean, and for our ego's sake, we are going to look and see what their hidden truths are because, that's important too to satisfy the ego. We want to know that they suffered, obviously. Like if they hurt us, a lot of times we want to satisfy our ego, or maybe we just want to know how to like know that they, aren't as happy or they magic. So again, certain things within inside of you that it wasn't just that you saw where you suppressed yourself and probably suppressed your magic. If you were someone that was very intuitive, someone that was very intuitive, but you were brought up in an environment that people say, hey, don't be intuitive. That's devil magic. That's again bad news. Don't do that. you know it's like when meanwhile you were put in a position now where you're like, this person's wearing a mask, this person's full of shit. It's like it's like that magic actually saves you. But I feel like magic is just other gifts as well that you have. But I feel like your intuition was one of them. Because again, look at this suppression and oppression. Like, I mean, this is you were held down. Like this is what this person did in a roundabout way to you. And I say that because it's like the situation was whatever they told you. However, you could tell that they were wearing a mask. You could tell that they were dishonest. You could tell that there were certain things. Again, and those certain things I feel like is anger, right? So when you attract people into your life, you have to say what is the main energy, and it's anger. Holding on to anger in the root chakra. So when we again are oppressed and suppressed, we don't find our true self. We don't live from the higher self. We live from the ego part of ourself, which is trying to accommodate mainly people that we can't accommodate because they're just not happy. And it's usually our parents or people in the environment that we associate with our survival. And so this is why I feel like, again, like goes to like. I don't really feel like we're suppressed in your environment. I feel like you were just overly accommodating. So whether we voluntarily, the bottom line is we don't 100% know who we are, so we don't feel safe. And so what happens is survival mechanisms where I feel like part of your survival was give. Again, on an emotional level, I gave, I was accepted. I gave, I felt more loved. I gave. And so, again, and now you're treating people the way you want to be treated. So there's no balance because you didn't create yourself. Again, because you were suppressed and oppressed. Suppressed meaning be quiet, shut up, and you're saying, well, I want to get into this. Maybe I want to be an actor. Maybe I want to be, again, a musician. Maybe I want to be an artist. Maybe I want to grow my hair down to the floor. Maybe I want to, again, your expression of self was oppressed. And then you understand during this time in separation, because you walked away, you found your magic. Again, where we have to say, okay, so that what does this person feel? And what are they going to do? Because, like I said, the ego needs to satisfy. We're like, we want to know, are they going to like eventually come back? Did they, like, even if we don't take them back, we want the option. Even if the person's not a good person, there's a sense of, I still want to know. So we ask. Don't listen to other people. Trust yourself to know the truth. See, this person oppressed and suppressed, it still is going around asking other people. And so then what winds up happening is, people then use you for what they want to use you for. See, this person is not confident. And I feel like in the fact that they weren't confident, they acted like overly confident to you as a way, again, for their feeling of lack. But they feel lack because they don't know who they are. Then they're attached to people that have, I feel, too much time and like too much say in this person's life, too much influence, if not say, in this person's life, to the point that, why is that? You don't know who you are? You're going to ask other people? And in that, it's like, everybody has an opinion. Why you don't trust yourself? No, they don't. So they have to wear a mask. Don't let fear get in the way of this truth. They're like, they know on some level. It's like, I do have feelings, but it's like I would actually have to step it up. And that's like it's and in that, who might not like it, who might not like that all of a sudden I want to do something for myself, especially if they're tended to overgive to people in their family and people that they consider like friends and family. It's like, then this person hasn't gone out into the world at all. Our destiny is calling. Preparations are underway to take the next step. So this person is like, I feel like I'm supposed to be with you. I do feel like I'm supposed to be with you, but I have to change. And part of, like, I don't know how to change. It's making this person say, how did I get into this position anyway, where I'm like asking other people and they kind of feel like I'm asking, but I don't trust what I'm hearing anymore. Where this person, I feel like at one point was like, you could have told them anything and they'd say, okay, and they wouldn't question it because they trusted everyone. Now they're asking, and what I feel like, they're like, it doesn't feel right what you're telling me. You're telling me that, I shouldn't be with this person, but I kind of feel like I should, because I'm still thinking about you, even though I'm fearful. And I'm fearful for a lot of reasons, not just because of this person's connected to people that obviously have too much say, and in them changing, it changes the dynamic of whatever, relationships that they have. But also that this person has to figure out who they are. It's like, because in that they could lose themselves in you. They could, they present themselves as if they're strong. Remember, they wear a mask. So we're going to kind of kick them over and get them. All right. Hold on a second. And because they all, like, how many fell? This many fell, so we're going to take all of them, because Spirit has Spirit has there's no mistakes. Surrender brings us together faster than resistance. So again, they're seeing that they resist a lot. And I feel like, again, they're trying to figure out why they're the way that they are. Which, again, what are relationships for? Relationships and perception that spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, brings the universe, brings us the people and situations that are going to help us heal. And what I see here, it's almost like your person didn't even think that there was anything wrong with the way that they were living. Didn't notice that, you know, the people surrounding them don't really have their best interest all the time. They didn't notice that. Like they noticed it now. Because again, there's a sense of unconditional love. Now, that doesn't mean that this person didn't do a lot of shit before. Um, when I let myself go deeper into thoughts of you, I can feel my heart opening. So, this is what I was saying about the actual connection, that it's all about returning to the heart, returning to unconditional love. We have past life connections, memories are surfacing either consciously or subconsciously. I feel like they're subconsciously. I don't really feel like this person is that conscious. You are my true love and heart and soul. And I'm trying to understand how my thoughts create my reality. I know I need to stay positive. Are you? So I feel like in separation, believe it or not, even though this person did what they did, I feel like they kind of reacted, and they reacted like in a way from their past relationships and not really what was happening now, and also because they're surrounded by people that they can't really trust, that they've been trusting. So this person's a little annoyed, and whatever past experiences that created that have not made this person feel good. And I feel like your separation has made this person like, it's a healing story, really, where this person like didn't realize that they were being oppressed and suppressed. And in that, they were projecting a lot of that onto you when you first met them. They were like, I don't want you to do that. Like what was being done to them was actually what they were trying to do to you. And then like once you separated, then they like looked, and then they started to miss you, and then they started to look at their own life, because what these people were saying around them was like, I don't really feel the same. I feel as if, you know, I am supposed to be with this person. And that's why this person is saying preparations are happening right now. Like that this is an unfoldment process. This is a healing process for them. And so do they know whether it's going to work out or not? No. But what they know is that they don't want to live this way anymore, connected to people that have way too much say over their life, and people that they clearly are seeing, you don't really have my best interest. You don't really have my best interest, because it's like I'm telling you how I feel about someone. I'm telling you, and you're telling me to hold back. You're telling me to play games. You're telling me to do all this stuff. And, to the point that I sabotaged the connection. And because I trusted you people, because you people have been in my life. This person hasn't been in my life. So it's what makes us look at painful things is unconditional love. So again, divine connection is that there is unconditional love here. Doesn't mean that you need to be with this person. However, and it doesn't mean that you will be with this person. I think for some of you guys you will, some of you guys you won't. But we can ask in this story again, and then ask, what if we chose to be with this person? What is the energy that we should bring into the connection? And, or if we're not, what is the energy that we're supposed to be in? So let's see. As far as for you, I feel like again, look at this. You're the catalyst to help this person heal, literally, because you're confident. You, again, are like, you're strong. You're the catalyst for their healing. You're their muse. This is why another thing is like, I feel like they didn't know that they were being suppressed. You're a carefree person. You're living your life. Like I said, that this is how they see you. They see you as that someone that's sexy, energetic, confident, a person on fire. It's like, so there's a sense of, I want to emulate that. I want a life like that. And you may say, well, my life isn't really even that great. Well, it's better than theirs because it's yours. At this time, things could go either way. They know that you're like, I don't know. You may take it back, you may not, and you may be like, I don't know. You may not take me back. However, I do feel like your person too coming into your life this time around, they are also going to be very strong willed. They also are going to be courageous this time because they weren't courageous because they were asking other people. So you're going to see, again, a more confident person, a person, again, that has a vision. But like I said, they're very aware that you might be like, take a hike. Take a hike. But they're like, either way, I have to do this for myself. And Spirit says that's the point for the relationship, whether you're with them or not. They're returning more to unconditional love, which is why there's a desire. Again, and this one, which I love, is recognition. Praise their ego. So there's a sense of for both of you, whichever which way you read this, whether or not it's you or them, there is a sense of prestige. Like there's timelessness, which is a sense of like it feels familiar with this person, even though they did everything that they did. If they're coming back and they're willing to tell me, then it's like I feel like that's the way that it should be. Like again, like this is not a bad card. It's recognition. Yes, there's ego there, but I feel like it's timeless, and that's here timelessness, and it's like, and that's really what it is. It's like, how do we learn? We learn through unconditional love, right? We wouldn't if we wouldn't unconditional love means that person really like kind of fucks you over and that really hurts you in every single way, but you still love this person. And as you notice how the story opened, it's like my heart and my head are fighting. It's like my heart wants one thing, my head wants another thing. I can't break. And so I feel like, again, you feel that way, your person feels that way, but they had to come to this realization. They had to, again, go through their evolution process in order to, and if a person comes back and they're humble themselves, well, there's a reason why you have unconditional love for them. It's like, oh, like I'm fucked if I do, I'm fucked if I don't. It's like if I'm with you, there's a sense like I have to like allow you to get over. But then Spirit says, well, forgiveness might mean one of your spiritual wounds that you need to learn and integrate. So I'm going to bring you experiences that you need to learn how to forgive. And then it's like, but they got over, and Spirit's will say, well, that's your ego. So that's the story. Ellen, did you get that? Because that was your reading. If you didn't, you get to rewind it and listen to it. It's like I feel like you're in separation, and now I can open the floor. If anyone has any questions, wants me to answer any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you, Mr. You're Blue, and me and you. Yeah, you can send me a super chat. I said I'll open the floor. Definitely super chat me and ask me questions. I mean, now that I'm done. Did anyone resonate with that story, by the way? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And sometimes we're like, okay, like it hasn't happened yet, all of it, but part of it's happened. I just feel like, again, this story is like lately, a lot of people are going through shifts. Like, more and more people are like, we're evolving and we're evolving into higher states of consciousness. And it's all so that we can evolve back into unconditional love. Understand things get worse though before it's better. So when you're like, well, it looks pretty fucked up outside, well, it looks that way outside because um, people haven't healed. They haven't integrated the spiritual lesson. And what happens is when we don't learn the spiritual lessons, we become a magnet for more of those experiences. That's why it's really important to understand why certain things happen. Otherwise, what'll happen to you is you'll be like, no, I really can't have it. Love what doesn't happen for me. I can't make money. It's like you begin to live from a lower state of consciousness, and what we don't realize is that our habits and our behaviorisms are all rooted from those beliefs. And so what happens then is we don't feel good, and then we have to do things. So we see a lot of people in relationships that are really imbalanced, right? They're imbalanced because they have a lot of shadows that haven't integrated. And then we say, well, I'm not a bad person. I don't really feel like I have that. Um, Unfortunately, there's only two energies, love and fear. And so not knowing who you are is an imbalance. Giving too much time, energy, focus to something outside of you that's going to grow you is against spiritual law. It's seen as abandonment, um, because we're down here to be expressions of unconditional love by doing what we love, and also by learning the different spiritual lessons of love. And that we get those lessons through our family, our ancestors, our friends, our lovers, our people that again come into our lives. Otherwise, we wouldn't know what love was. Unconditional love is love from every single perception. So when you meet a past life karmic mate, it's not that there isn't love. There is love. It's just the person's wounded. As I said in the beginning of the stream, it's like, but they have so many shadows. The relationship gets corroded. And it gets like corroded with things like guilt, anger, jealousy, and the relationship begins to corrode to the point that you can't fix it. That's what a trauma bond is. Trauma bonds are like, I'm bound to like a karmic theme. All right, so if somebody wanted to ask me a question, ask me a question. I don't know where you are. Otherwise, I'm going to start another reading. I'll give you a few minutes. No, I won't. I'll give you like a minute. A minute till I like organize my cards. Because no one wants to sit here and wait. Hello from Toronto. Alan, are you there still? It's like, I don't know who's here. I don't know who's not. I wish I had a camera. Inward. See, all right. Now I'm just going to start to do a reading again. Remember, energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. We're going to see the underlying energy of your situation. hostility. So again, the underlying energy is hostility. So I feel like at this point, you and your person have been in separation for a long time, that there's a lot of hostility. It's almost like again, I feel like for you, you're like, why hasn't this person like come back and apologized? Why hasn't this person like tried to fix anything? And for your person, it's like, why are you holding me to like having to apologize? Why are you holding? So there's a little bit of a Mexican standstill going on. Oh, good. I knew as soon as I started to channel, someone would ask me a question. You can ask me a question. But, okay, so hostility. I'm accepting super chats too. So, hostility. So, what happens is when you're in a case of a Mexican standstill, it means that nobody is doing anything, right? Everyone's waiting on somebody else to do something. And in that, it's like, I feel like it's creating a lot of like pent up aggravation. Okay. And as twin flames, we are here to ascend and help others to do the same. And so, again, it's a twin flame connection that you're in. And the hostility is, again, because there's a heart and head connection where I feel like both of you people are like, again, are like when you're attracted to your twin flame, there's always a runner and a chaser. And a lot of times the runner becomes a chaser and vice versa. And it's mainly because both parties tend to change their approaches. And the irony is that both parties need to learn how to surrender to what's unconditional love. It's like twin flames, they think differently, their gifts are different, but the traumas are usually the same. It's that the survival mechanisms that the child learn how to deal in the traumatic situation where there's childhood trauma. So I feel like one person's very creative and intuitive and, a free spirit, and the other person is so like logical, analytical, and very structured. And so it's not that this person's your other half, it's that where they have gifts, vice versa, and so, but that's why there would be a lot of hostility too, because it's like there's unconditional love, but there's also like, I don't understand why you're not doing what I need you to do for me on an emotional level. And both parties are like, I need you to do this for me on an emotional level. But both parties have childhood wounds. You're projecting your own fears and limitations onto me. It's when they're in a Mexican standstill where there's a creativity. It's like you're not doing what, again, I need you to do for me. And so it becomes like you're trying to control me by projecting your shit onto me. Again, you're projecting your limitations, your fears. Really, again, like I said, there usually is a runner and a chaser in twin flame relationships, and so the runner begins to like make it like you're you're too much all of a sudden, and then vice versa. Don't listen to other people, trust yourself to know the truth. So then what happens is I feel like because there's communication issues on top of it, then what winds up happening is it's like, again, there's blocks. When you have your twin flame, it doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden healed. You still have blocks. You're just ready to do the work. And so the universe brings people to you. And usually this is during a transition change within people's life. And so what winds up happening is that you wind up like you're ready to do the work, you're ready to change, you're ready to heal, because what you see that you've created, either don't like what you've created, or this change has prompted you to know that it's time for you to change, and you're trying to get the best results. So the universe, like I said, brings people into our lives, but they still have all these wounds. And so communication, this third chakra where your person's not communicating, obviously is a problem, because what's happening is I'm not emotionally intelligent, because I now don't feel good about myself. So I don't really trust myself. You see how the chakras are already? So I'm going to ask other people. And so, again, because this person's not secure. With those aspects of learning lessons, I feel like, again, in answer of your question, Jay, to experience the presence and actual scenario needing of truth of cycle. I don't understand what that sentence is, first of all. And how important does experiences play within the aspects of learning the lessons? Experiences is everything. It's karma. It's, again, what we reap is what we sow. And it's like the karmic cycle is that you keep, a person continues to repeat the same lesson without ever learning it. So, for instance, that this person, we see they have shadows. Everybody still has shadows. In this story, the twin flame still has shadows. Is that, again, they're ready to heal. Does it is now, are they consciously, did they make this decision? A lot of times, no. What happens is they wind up like this dark night of the soul. There's a big change that, again, shakes people up. And so the universe brings people into our lives to help us. And we're vulnerable to actually accept them at that period of time into our life. But it's all about ascending. So it's, again, like twin flame relationships last for like not a year, they last for years. Some of these soul relationships last for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. So, and they're in lessons over and over and over. It's the same karmic lesson. It's like, here we are again. It's the same shit. You keep doing the same shit. It's like, yeah, and the person's like, and you still here? And it's like, yeah, because it's like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. It's like, because I just want you to change, but the lesson is not, I just want you to change. You have to change to make that person change. Otherwise, you, of course, you're going to continue to live the same karmic cycle, and because karmic cycles are made from karmic looping, and karmic looping this is the same story. We've been down this road before. It's the same exact story. It's like, and those turn into karmic cycles, and those karmic cycles turn into karmic contracts, meaning you haven't learned. So now you're going to be bound to this person for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. And you feel like you're, a cage down and ready to gnaw your leg off to get out. Because it's, again, there's a fine line between love and hate, and karmic contracts are that, again, the relationship has already corroded. So there's a lot of hate there. There's a lot of pain there. There's a lot of, so it's, again, like there's these relationships are the most transformative because they help us change. That's why they come into our life. I daydream about you. Sometimes it's sexual. Other times I fantasize of our future together. So it's, again, there's a twin flame relationship. It wouldn't be right if there wasn't passion. And there wasn't like, I could see myself with you. I want to be with you. I can see. So it's, again, this is how this person feels. However, I know I need to release attachments with karmic people. I've created a plan to leave him or her. So again, some of you may be connected to someone that's with somebody else that has been in a karmic contract, which is like, that is what an attachment is. It's like you're in a relationship with someone that is emotionally not stable, and usually not financially stable either. It's just they pretend to be emotionally stable. They seem as the person that's more emotional, but they're with that's not emotionally intelligent. So of course, it's gonna. But that person that's not emotionally, that's a little bit more emotionally intelligent, is not getting anything. Not a no emotional connection. So there's resentment, there's anger, there's a lot of like unhealed shit, and so karmic attachments are just like, well, it's held together through guilt, it's held together through manipulation, it's held together through, again, like not unconditional love. It's like I feel like I have to, and so this person again, like, had lived too many karmic cycles, wound up in a karmic contract with a karmic, and but they know that it's time to heal, and they also feel like they're looking around and they're seeing a lot of, like, not just them, but a lot of their friends and a lot of other people are like experiencing like a life changes. So they feel like something bigger is happening, and I feel like you know that because you're more spiritual, and it's, again, it's because everyone's experiencing is a large part of the collective clearing, and the collective clearing to help you heal into the highest state of consciousness, which is what a twin flame relationship is. It's to help you heal by triggering those wounds out of you by somebody that is holding unconditional love. Hey, Nina. So that is really what it is. Let's see. And this is, we project our patterns onto each other, and this makes it difficult to see what is real and what is fear-based thinking. Again, I see projection all through this. Again, all through this reading. And so there's a sense of, again, that's what twin flame relationships are. So this is not going to be an easy relationship. It's going to be one that there is a tremendous amount of passion, a lot of unconditional love. However, a lot of triggers. And these triggers are what, again, is why this twin flame comes in to be the mirror to help trigger, but still be there to be like, I still love you unconditionally. And there's still a lot of passion. Passion is another form of fire that helps you transmute the negative energy. It's, again, otherwise we wouldn't be able to. It's also one that helps you create. So there's the creating, and that actually opens up the second chakra, which is all about one's individuality. And what we see here is, again, it was impaired by your person. We're going to pull in our child healing, see how it was impaired within you. When I let myself go deeper into thought of you, I can feel my heart opening, like literally. So again, that there's a sense of, again, coming back into the heart, helping to return to heart. Because what happens is when we're brought up in environments that suppress us, we close off our heart. We're afraid to let anyone in. We then don't express ourselves. We form these spiritual blocks. And so, like I said, there's this connection of unconditional love, which is helping your person open up, as well as open up the other chakras that are below it. I'm beginning to focus on my mission, and our connection is part of that. I told you, a twin flame relationship. It's, again, that's what this person's focused on. It's like, I feel like you're supposed to be in my life. I feel like you're like, again, you mean something to me, but it's, again, there's a much more profound thing. They've never experienced a relationship like this before. I feel insecure, and it's pushing me to grow. So it's, again, that's what these relationships are about. It's like releasing attachments, which is codependent relationships and other things. So yes, that was a collective reading I did on, but then but I'm not finished because I want to see why you attracted this person into your life, right? This is a twin flame connection of, you know, connection, but we have to say, well, what are some of the wounds that need to be integrated? Why, again, what's like what blocks? And I believe that twin flames share the same blocks. They just learned how to deal with it. So, what does that mean? Well, if they grew up in an alcoholic family, they both grew up in an alcoholic family. If one parent was unstable, well, guess what? Both parties grew up that way. But they learned to survive differently. Their escapism was done differently. One person stuck their head and their nose in a book, and the other person played out in a treehouse and lived in their imagination land. One person is very logical and analytical and very smart with books, and the other person is very creative and intuitive. Their approaches to life are different. Neither one are wrong. God says, you're down there to learn. You're not separate from me, which is unconditional love. I am man. I am woman. You are man. You are woman. You, again, have those, and those traits are, again, the behaviorisms, the gifts that come with each gender, with each, So shame. Both parties had shame, which is the twin flame relationship that would have to be something harsh like shame. And as a child, if we grew up in an environment that was really imbalanced, well, we have inherited family karma, right? So if a parent was an alcoholic, a parent was, kept losing their job, they had money issues, and felt bad about themselves, well, guess what? The child inherits that because that parent really isn't that nice to the child because they can't make their own life work, which is what I feel both people grew up with. And so there's a sense of shame. I've inherited that, but I also feel that like I'm a problem because, I'm watching everybody struggle. And so they go out into the world and they create experiences that they're not really proud of. And that would be this person like a cheater, or if they wound up definitely in a trauma bond relationship, they weren't getting any love there. That relationship was corroded. So they become a serial like cheater. And and here you are, you could be like someone that just like, I have a hard time making money. Like it's again my energy. I'm not a shady person. I just can't figure it out. And so fear goes to fear. So both parties inherited the trait of shame, whether that's I did a bad act or whether or not I'm embarrassed of certain areas of my life. It's the same shit. And the spirit says again, we wouldn't be able to transmute this harsh energy. This is harsh energy. It needs fire energy. Again, physical touch, I associate that with emotional support. Like I didn't get the emotional support I needed, again, because they were dealing with their own stuff. And then I went out and I tried to please myself, give myself the emotional stuff that I needed for myself. But I had to steal for it, and I had to get the candy. I had to, again, this is inner child wounds. Not stealing a car. When you're like a kid, you're like I lied, I manipulated, I cheated, I did this, but I was told I was bad, and so I emotionally did what I needed. And then let's pull one more. I always like it when I pull a gift. Like maybe coming from shame, maybe we can, but that doesn't mean all the time that it does. Like, well, this is wonder. It's not a gift. It means that you didn't experience life. My spirit's like, because you lived in shame and you went out and you tried to create your own fun, but again, your own fun meant to fulfill yourself. You didn't go out and experience the wonders within the world and the wonders within inside of you. It's like, and so you can't experience the wonders within you unless you transmute that negative energy. So the way that we do it is, again, through unconditional love. That's what the twin flame soulmate is. And they learn how to transmute. Now you say, transmute what? Transmute shame, uh, transmute any negative perception about themselves by learning how to integrate through working together. Again, your person already knows, I'm supposed to do something with you. Why am I supposed to do something with you? It's, again, they intuitively know that through claircognizance, through clairsentient. They don't even know that they have that. They just is an inner knowing, like, I feel like it's supposed to, but I have to change my life in order for us to do that. It's like, and that they get the courage to do it. However, the bigger mission is that you both learn how to integrate, forgiveness, perseverance, being compromising. You weren't taught that. You were taught that you were bad. This person was taught that they were bad. Again, shame is that. So that's what gets integrated. Those feelings of shame transmuted into the highest states of consciousness from unconditional love. I hope that that was helpful. Now, anyone have any questions? Anyone want me to ask? Anyone want me to answer anything? I can. I just feel like, again, as far as like what you were asking about, I don't really understand that first line, but as far as karmic lessons are why they happen, well, again, we're born into families and situations and experiences play out for us to learn. And really, we're supposed to learn that we are unconditional love, that we're not separate from that entity, that divinity part of self, that God part of self is unconditional love. And that makes us supernatural. That makes us be able to manifest and create. It's just a lot of us wind up creating not the experiences that we want. So that's why I like to do these readings, because they transform. But anyone have any questions? They want to know anything? Give it a few minutes to see before I pull out more cards. Before I kept asking, and then I wait, and as soon as I start to do a reading, someone else comes on and asks. Anybody? Nobody has a question? A shadow message for, well, again, you can do it, but like it's in between like my little readings. You can ask me to do those. Learning how to go with the flow. If there isn't anybody, I'm going to log off. And I'll put up a general reading in a little while. A pre one. I'll talk to you guys soon.